here we can see that Wall Street is getting ready to put a lot of money into crypto. They are going after all the big energy companies in this space, and XRP stands out. This video is going to cover a lot of ground. Relax and take it easy. All of you are welcome to the group. To those who are new to the channel, I hope you will subscribe by the end of this film. For starters, let's start with what we saw on the 21st. XRP futures were added to the Coinbase swaps list. A lot of people are exaggerating this, saying things like this was going to send XRP to a new all-time high and other similar things. This is the normal hype that goes along with big news stories. The main thing I'm thinking about right now, though, is how we're beginning to see a whole new market. Around this area, companies like Coinbase, Robinhood, and even CME are making moves. Finally, this is all there is to say about crypto derivatives. It's kind of crazy that these kinds of markets are starting to appear when, say, 12 to 24 months ago, they would never have existed. I love seeing moves like this. These look great for crypto. I also believe that having names like Robinhood and even CME connected to these things is a good thing. It's really cool. It's great to see because it means they take a much more serious view on crypto. We also know that there are already versions of Hedera and Solana. There is already an entry for derivatives around those two on Coinbase, and now XRP is a great addition to that list. Of course, we love seeing ETFs on top of that list, guys. It's crazy that 72 crypto-themed ETFs are now waiting for SEC approval. This is crazy, 72 ETFs. I remember that Bitcoin ETFs were all the rage in 2020 and 2021. That's what people were talking about at that time. I think the first Bitcoin ETF was approved in 2021. It was a futures ETF. After that, we didn't hear much about ETFs until around 2023 or 2024. However, if we open this list that Marty Party posted in a new tab and zoom in, we can see that XRP is the most important thing here. XRP and Solana. Besides those two, there are a few others such as Doge, Cardano, Axel, Aptos, and so on. But XRP and Solana are the key ones. I like that HBAR is getting some attention here because utility-based assets are becoming more and more important. That is something I think will continue to grow, especially with the talks going on in the US about new laws and rules. For me, these ETFs are mostly a sign that Wall Street is back. Wall Street has been around for a while, I think. There have also been promises like this one where Justin, the $138 billion 0-cent CEO of Charles Schwab, says the company will start trading Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies on the spot. They have 37 million users, which is a huge number. Also, Charles Schwab is the most traditional bank there is. When we think about some of these players, for example, they're huge in the TradFi space. You wouldn't even think to look for those names in crypto, let alone ones that offer crypto services. I think this is crazy. It's crazy because, back in January, Morgan Stanley's asset managers said that E-Trade is allegedly looking into offering crypto trading. All of these big names are now on board, like Morgan Stanley and the big banks like JP Morgan and Citibank of America. Now we have Charles Schwab. Citadel jumped into crypto like it was nothing. It's becoming clear that Wall Street also wants a big piece of the pie. And as I already said, Charles Schwab is the most traded company in the world. In December 2024, we will be able to see that means they had 10.1 trillion in client assets at the end of 2024. There are 36.5 million open brokerage accounts, 5.4 million participant accounts in workplace retirement plans, and 2 million banking accounts. In the TradFi world, this is a huge name. I already said, but what's crazy about this, it sounds like they're now talking about providing services based on crypto. What would you say? Where are we now in the change from crypto to Wall Street? We're seeing that bridge as if it were already there, right? To begin with, we're no longer seeing it being made. You can see the bridge. They are now here, and they're talking about what they plan to do with crypto and what they want to offer with it. It seems like there's a new statement like this every single day. Or the big banks are now talking about cryptocurrency. On the 21st, the same day, we heard that Charles Schwab, Deutsche Bank, and other reputable banks want to grow their crypto operations in the US, for example. What's interesting about this is that, say, Standard Chartered invested in Ripple back in 2016, and then in 2023, a center chartered back to Zodiac joined the global crypto storage network owned by Ripple. In other news, RippleSwell told us that Zodiac was looking to add XRP to the XRPL. They were interested in it. We can start to see Wall Street and the social shift happen in real time when we think about what's really going on. It's like the bridge was already built. All of them are now, crossing the bridge into crypto. They want to put everything they have into this place. These people want to be in charge of this area because they know it will bring in a lot of money. How many more people, say in the retail sector, are going to flood into the space, and how much bigger will it get? This area will be safer in about 5 years because guess what? It seems like every other day we hear something new about tokenization attempts and projects. Also, people are making guesses about how much will be tokenized by 2030 or 2033. There are trillions of dollars in it. What I think will happen is that there will be a much bigger move from the institutional and Wall Street side when we really look at what's going on. It's not going to look the way everyone thinks it will, though. It looks like they're going to jump into the space for sure. They will definitely provide many services based on crypto. That being said, tokenization is also going to heat up. It's because Deutsche Bank and Standard Chartered Bank want to grow their crypto businesses and also tokenize. That's why Zodiac Custody joined the Ripple Custody platform. Plus, when we think of Deutsche Bank, the most interesting thing about them is their Flow website, which basically gives them information and content about what's going on. This is straight from Deutsche Bank. There was a post from them in November of last year that said, "Embracing ISO 2002 for a connected future. Find out what's crazy about this." It looks like Ripple might have written this because ISO 2002 has the ability to provide the rich data needed to free up trapped liquidity, finance trade that wasn't possible before, and make operations much more efficient. Seeing these kinds of quotes is crazy because Ripple has been saying the same thing for years. We could go back to 2017 or 2018. It's really crazy to see this. Also, you know what bizarre about this piece? It sounds like Ripple #1 wrote it, but here's #2 from the head of transaction banking at Standard Chartered Bank around the world. An important thing that ISO 2002 can do is connect standard finance with decentralized finance. We now know for sure how big ISO 2002 will be, and we can also see a straight quote below. There are a lot of payment service providers and coin providers that are built right into ISO 2002. Some of them are Waves, XRP, Circles, and USDC. It's interesting that these are the only two that are talked about here. He also said that ISO 2002 could help connect standard finance with decentralized finance. When you add the rich data to that and mix it all together, you have almost the right system for innovation. He was making a point when he said that adopting ISO 222 should really be looked at along with new technologies. Here's proof of what's really going to happen. That's why I said Wall Street and other big businesses are after your coin. I don't mean that they want to steal your crypto. No, they are going to use the crypto assets that you have put money into. There is already proof. They have already told us everything we need to know about this, and the bridge is built. So we'll start to see platforms like Ripple Custody get involved, as well as tokenization efforts through Ripple, payments to Ripple, and then